Hey guys, how's it going? All right, so this is the number one question that every guy in my industry gets. How do you approach women? And how do you do it from a place of fear? How can you actually put yourself out there to get rejected? It's a pretty tough question, and a lot of people have been asking it over and over and over. And I decided to make one last video for the subject to knock it out once and for all, to help you guys out and to hopefully fix this situation you guys have been having a big issue with. So in this video, what we're gonna be talking about is the core of why this happens. Then we're gonna talk about how to fix it, and then how to move past it and make this a part of who you are. With that being said, let's get into the video.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.
All right, now firstly, why do you feel approach anxiety? The first reason is societal pressure. How many people in your daily life do you see approaching? How many people do you see actually even express really negative views towards guys that have any sexual intent towards a woman? It's pretty bad. And like oftentimes people are like creepy. So you feel that first and foremost. You don't see anybody ever doing this. And you're like, well, if I were to do that, I would get rejected and hurt my ego, which takes us to the next point. What's the second reason that people can approach? It's because they have an ego. They have a fake personality in front of them that if they were to go and approach, they'd have to shatter this ego and they'd have to possibly even get hurt, which if you're gaming, you're gonna get your ego hurt. And ultimately the end goal is to have your ego completely destroyed, because if you have no ego, you're a lot more powerful in game, which is what we're gonna get into in the end of this video. So what is this ego I'm talking about? Now, as you grow up, you're born with this idea that everybody is just where they are, that everybody has innate talents and abilities, which is a societal thing people teach on you, and is also just something that somebody that's not very experienced in studying or learning or growing as a person, like people that don't usually grow or have never had this feeling that they ever have, gone towards a goal and succeeded. You think that you can't improve. The same way that fat people don't think they can get skinny, they don't think they can get muscular. People say to me all the time, I'm just not the body type to get that. Or I'm not just the guy, I'm just too ugly to get girls. And they tell themselves this. So what they'll do is they'll instead, because they can't actually be it, they'll fake it. And then when you fake it long enough, eventually you start believing your own fake lie yourself, because the people that lie the best are the ones that believe it. Why would you even fake it though? Because if you can't get it, why not get the admiration of those people that have it? And the best way to do that is to lie about it. Because if you can't be it, why not actually just get the results of having it, the results that you want, which is getting treated better by society. So then you have like billions of guys out there who are telling you they can get any girl they want. They can win any fight. If they wanted to, they could be a billionaire if they wanted to. However, they're just not that type of person, and they're super fucking intelligent. If they wanted to study, they would. They're just lazy. Now, that's fucked up for them. And it's fucking you up too, because you start thinking, oh shit, all these guys, every guy I've ever talked to has a batting average of 100, which is impossible. Like Brad Pitt could do this and he would get rejected. It's just the way it is. Women are supposed to be choosy about the guys they sleep with. It's just a normal part of actually trying this out. And so you approach from this mindset that maybe you're the cool guy, maybe you're James Bond, maybe you don't get rejected, maybe you're not that creepy guy, and you have this mindset that you actually care about and you hold to. Now you approach and the girl rejects you harshly and maybe even treats you like, oh my God, this guy's weird. That hurts a lot for you because it hurts your ego and it bruises it. It bruises this fake character that you have in front of you. Now, as time goes on, you want to loosen this up and break it, which I'll teach you how to do at the end of this video. Now, the third and final reason that you have approach anxiety is genetic. We're a very anxious creature. We've only become predators as of 1.5 million years ago.
6.5 hours later.
So we grew up as a very anxious species. And oftentimes, you as a person, you'll build up these scenarios about how terrible it is to approach a woman and the terrible god-awful things will happen to you if you do it that are not real. Because you have an overactive amygdala that is just bred from us being the species we are. And you'll create these false stories until you actually go out and start experiencing women and find out that the results and the cons of approaching are actually nil and zero. And there's actually no negative consequences to approaching a girl. As long as you're not like walking up and physically accosting her, like as long as you're going up and being a socially intelligent human being, there is no downside to approaching a woman ever. I have had multiple times where I was afraid to approach a girl and I thought it through, broke it down backwards, did it forwards, listened to everybody else talk about this subject, listened to other coaches that I really admired, and I listened to their observations on what they think is going on. And I have a pretty good handle on what it is that causes this. Now, for a lot of you guys who do have this problem to approach, this issue where you can't put yourself out there to approach a cute girl that you would love to talk to and possibly get in a relationship with. Now, there are two different ways that you can get rid of approach anxiety. Now, the first one is ego-based and the other one is letting go-based. Now, For me, for a lot of years, I made myself approach through my ego. I allow my ego to drive me, to push me to keep approaching girls. Now, ultimately, you want to move past this and get to the stage of letting go. Letting go would be the optimal way to end up doing this in the end, but letting go is also very tough, and it's tough for somebody to make those mental hurdles to just let go and not care. It takes a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of proving to yourself that it's not such a big deal, because when people don't approach, and some of you guys, maybe you guys have never approached, some of you, it's very tough for you to just get over that hurdle and stop giving a fuck. I'm teaching you guys how to use your ego to drive you, to allow you to approach. Then hopefully, as we get close to the end of the video, I'll start teaching you how to let go for some of you guys who've already been doing this for a long time. Some of you guys believe that you are your ego. A lot of you guys think that your ego is you. A lot of you guys think that this is just who you are, and you guys don't have the intrapersonal intelligence yet to understand that there's two different entities within you, that there's multiple different selves. Now, firstly, the ego is a false personality you put in front of yourself, and a lot of guys do this. So, for example, for me, for a lot of years, I was the guy who's awesome with women. I was the pickup guy. I was the guy that got all my friends girls, that anytime there was a business guy, my way of mulling it over and making him my friend was by throwing girl after girl on him and getting him laid a lot. And then usually that's how that worked. And I came up to this ego that I was just the pickup guy, that I was the guy that was just this. Now, for those of you guys who are pushing yourselves through your ego, this is something you're just gonna have to do for a while. You want your stars to align. Now, some of you guys might be saying, this is not who I am. That's bullshit. You're a fluid structure. You're not just something. And by saying this to yourself, you're putting yourself in a box. The same way that you tell yourself, oh, I'm just not the person that works out. Oh, I'm not the person that meditates. Oh, I'm not just that person that makes a lot of money, that makes millions of dollars. You're putting yourself in a box that impedes you from having a better life. So telling yourself this, firstly, bad. Bad. Do not have your ego go against you. Do not tell yourself, I'm this person, because you're not. The person behind your ego is a very fluid structure, and he could be whatever he wants. And I'm gonna teach you guys how to push this and move this in the right direction. Now, firstly, how can you change your ego? The first way is momentum. You wanna start building momentum. Now, momentum, for those of you guys who don't know, is the subtle way that society pushes on you. It's the subtle way that you mentally corral yourself and move yourself around and force yourself to become a certain identity or character. Now, society slowly tells you what's good and bad and what you shouldn't be. And you kind of will follow a certain vein of society. You'll be like, oh, maybe I'm the guy that makes a lot of money. Maybe I'm the guy that's really nice to people. Maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that. And you'll use society as a true north. Now, what you want to do is, now the problem with this is that society as a whole doesn't advocate approaching women. For the most part, everybody likes to hide behind their egos, where they tell themselves, I'm amazing with women. I can fight anybody. That I'm the type of person who's just really intelligent. And if I wanted to make money, I totally could, but I'm just not one of those kind of guys. Now, for you, you have to stop listening to them and instead start absorbing media that tells you it's okay to approach. How can you do that? One, watching YouTube channels like mine, where for me, it's really normal and all my homies to go and approach. So when I talk to you guys about this, I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to approach. That's just really good for you as an entity. It allows you to know what kind of girls you like, blah, blah, blah. Watch my shit or watch other pickup artists. I don't care. I'm not gonna browbeat anybody. As long as you listen to content that tells you that it's okay to approach, do it and start absorbing this. Now, next thing you wanna do is start getting friends around you where it's really normal and easy for them to approach, and it's even really fun, where it's no big deal, where they almost are drawn towards it. Now, if you're hanging around these guys, for you, momentum's gonna slowly be going up. Because for your homies, for your group, for your society, it's normal to go and talk to girls. Now, the final thing you're gonna wanna do is that you're gonna wanna go out consistently, because you have to prove to yourself back to back to back that it's okay to approach. How do you do this? Going out a lot and consistently. It's not really so much about the time spent out. I mean, it does help. If you're gonna spend more time out than anything else, awesome. But the consistency is what's most important. 5 to 7 days a week. If you wanna get yourself where it's normal to approach, do it. Now, what this is doing is helping you build an ego, an identity around approaching. As you keep doing this, the layers of the onion are gonna be peeled away. For maybe a while you told yourself that if you approached, it was a really big deal. Maybe you told yourself that society would reject you completely. And as you keep doing this, you keep seeing that society doesn't really care that much, that people don't care and people are more caring about themselves. Oftentimes, even if they're pointing at you oh, look at this guy over here is creepy and weird. What they're trying to say is, I'm not creepy and weird, look at me. They're not saying look at you, they're really saying look at me. Nobody that actually ever brings anybody down is ever really talking about that person, necessarily. I mean, sometimes they are, but most of the time is really a reflection of themselves. This is something you guys will learn as you guys keep doing this. Now, a lot of you guys are probably thinking that there's guys out there that if they approach, they would get every single fucking girl. That for them, they get a 10 out of 10 every time they go to the club. Now, get this. I still go to nightclubs and I still get rejected. And a lot of times in these rejections, I don't have any control of it any which way. There's 4 reasons why a girl generally rejects somebody. One, maybe your game's a little bit off. Maybe you're coming across in a very inauthentic way. Maybe you're coming across in a very negative way with negative emotions. Maybe you're not showing good enough intent. There's a bazillion different ways for this first reason why it couldn't be popping off. Now, this is something that you guys are going to be working on. All right, you're going to be working on your game and trying to fix this. Now, the next reason is that maybe she has a boyfriend and she's trying to stay loyal to him, and she knows that he's in the area, so she rejects you, maybe rejects you harshly just to get rid of you. Now, the next reason is that she has a character flaw in her that just makes her kind of a bit of an asshole. Now, if that's the case, it's her thing, it's not yours. Let her go, tell her have a nice day. Not a big deal. Now, the final reason is actually another thing that's in your control. The guys previous to you were all losers. Now, in this general case, you just stay around her long enough if you're a cool guy, and eventually she'll realize you're not one of those losers. And she'll generally flip and really like you. So with that being said, relieve the pressure. You don't have control over every set. Every guy gets rejected. Even Brad Pitt, if you're out here, would get rejected. Women are supposed to be picky. Like I said though, if to get better, the rejections get very, very little to the point to where like it looks like I never get rejected in the night. But you still get rejected. Take the pressure off yourself. Any other guy in their position were to go on approach, he'd get rejected, no matter what the fuck he told you. Because everybody has an ego about this, and every guy thinks he's perfect in every way, especially when you have an ego, because these guys are trying to prop up their confidence on this fake personality, this fake person they are. You're actually becoming this person. You're not faking it. Ignore them. They're full of shit. Relieve the pressure, all right? Now, me personally, I actually recently had really big issues with approach anxiety. Why? Because every time I go to a club, somebody recognizes me or crew recognizes me, starts following me around. And the second that I'm in the club, I'm like, oh shit, if I don't look good in front of them, all these guys in their head, they're going to be like, oh no, game isn't real, we knew it, blah. And then I would feel very responsible for that. But at this point now of my game, I kind of realized that if they do that, that's their own fucking fault. Like, it's not me. Which was another realization. And the way that I actually realized this was the way that you guys are going to start calling your own minds. So you guys probably have a lot of different like mindsets that stop you from approaching. You guys have things like, if I approach her, cops are going to come and arrest me or something like that, or maybe she's going to scream fuck you at me or something like that, or maybe is going to approach is going to really hurt. Now, what you need to do is flip this around, and you need to start telling yourself that these are all bullshit, because any reason for not approaching a girl, I promise you, is bullshit. Like, you're probably way blowing it out of proportions, which people, as humans, we naturally do. We're very anxious creatures. So we want to create like the possible biggest result. Not to mention, you haven't approached probably more than 100 girls if you're somebody that's really fresh to this. There's literally no reason to not approach a woman. There's nothing. There's no downside to approaching a girl. There's nothing but upside. If nothing else, even if you get rejected, you're learning. Whenever you have one of these excuses we were just talking about, write it down. Then when you get back home, write down how it's fucking ridiculous. Why is it fucking ridiculous? And really mentalize it and really kind of cue it in. Now, this is going to help you out over a period of time, weeding out these bad negative thoughts that are stopping you from doing this stupid bullshit of not approaching. And it'll start freeing you up as you start realizing all these internal dialogue you're actually having with yourself to stop you from approaching. For some of you guys, it's impossible to even get to that approach. You're just like so locked up. Now here, you want to do what's called exposure therapy. If you're at this point where it's so hard for you to approach, make it really easy for yourself. Maybe walk up to somebody and say, I like your shoes. Oh, thank you. Hey, what time is it? Say, do you know what the weather's like later today? There's like a bazillion different things to say. Once you get the answer, leave. Maybe you don't even like have to get an answer. Like, I like your shoes. Thanks, man. Yeah, no worries. Keep walking. Then as time goes on, maybe you're like, hey, you can approach a cute girl, say the same thing. Then maybe you show intent. This is called exposure therapy. Little by little, you're making it easier and easier for yourself. Now, for some of you guys who are like, oh no, a lot of you guys are probably getting nervous and scared right before approaching a girl. You think of nothing but the rejection you're about to feel. Now, what you need to start feeling is the excitement, the possibility of getting a girl. All right, you need to flip the energies. Start, instead of being fearful and afraid, start teaching yourself to be excited. When I get to go out, I get really excited in my body. It allows me to get in the zone faster and in the state. Like, you want to get yourself really fucking hyped up because you have a possibility of having an amazing adventure tonight. Even if you don't sleep with a girl, the night could be an amazing fucking adventure. Like, why not get fucking hyped up for it? Why go to the club feeling scared or like it's work? It should be play and fun. Now, the next one is not very popular. A lot of coaches would disagree with me on this, but if you know what to say, it's a lot easier to approach, isn't it? If you have the words, isn't it a lot easier to approach? So this is something that you can add in with your field reports. If you didn't know something to say when you approached a girl or when a girl said something, write down a better answer next time. Write down 3 different answers, write down 6 different answers, write down a dozen answers. So then when it comes around again, you're now more confident in the situation. You know what to say. How hard would it be to approach a girl when you know all the right words? It wouldn't be that difficult. So that's what we're going to be working on. So for you guys, start figuring out some canned lines, some things for you to say that are authentic to you. All right, now back to the pressure. Now, what's another way you can relieve pressure off yourself and keep yourself back to approaching? The way that I do it is that whenever I'm out of it, I approach the girl not for that girl herself, but for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th girl down the line. Because I want that 6th or 10th girl to really love the shit out of me. And if I'm out of it, this is how I make myself approach. So the first girl will be like, okay, this is gonna be my warm-up, get myself a little bit more momentum. Teach myself, okay, it's cool to approach. Approach her, start talking, maybe I felt out of it, first one, then I move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I keep getting a little bit more into the zone, a little bit more okay with this until approaching is very authentic to me. Then I approach that girl and everything is lining up. Approaching her makes total sense with the character that I'm expressing to her because I'm 100% authentic with my inner character. So now I'm approaching and I'm authentic to approaching. I'm positive and I think she's cute and it kind of lines up. Maybe I'm also a little bit like picky with her and it all just kind of rolls together and authenticity kind of feeds into itself. And the longer you hang out with the girl, the more she's gonna get attracted to you. Ultimately, if you guys are gonna be doing this long term, you wanna get rid of this ego in front of you, this fake personality. Now, how do you do this? By noticing what is fake about it and why you're doing this to yourself. Now, generally speaking, an ego is to protect your confidence. It's to prop up this fake confidence so that you look better to the outside world. So that maybe you can be confident in yourself. Maybe you can protect yourself from yourself. Maybe so you can protect yourself from other people. Now, ultimately, you have to get this broken up by getting rejected a lot, and shown that this person is not really you. Maybe like have yourself get rejected really harshly, and eventually it becomes a lot weaker. Now, if it becomes weaker, you can start extinguishing it better. Now, when you keep getting rejected and you realize you're still yourself, and you realize that you're still a cool fucking human being, and you stop listening to other people, what you can start doing is that you can start attacking the reasons you're not approaching directly. Now, how do you do this? Now, firstly, like for example, when people follow me around the club, how is that ridiculous? Why me not approaching, how's that ridiculous? And why is it me that's stopping myself from doing this? It's because ultimately I want to succeed and I don't want to look to you guys like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I fear that every day. I'm like, if I'm not here and you guys don't believe me, if you guys don't have, you don't think I have your back, if you guys see me in a club and maybe I'm having an off night, maybe like you guys would be like, I knew it. I knew game wasn't real and he's full of shit. Like this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I broke it back a little further. I'm like, well, why is that ridiculous? Why should I care what you guys think of me? Why anybody thinks of me? Why can't I just go out there and go pick up girls and have a lot of fucking fun? Why should I let you guys get in the way? Because ultimately, what I realized was that if I don't care, I ultimately always have a great night. If I don't care what you guys think, if there's people following me around, I think, yeah, they're gonna follow me around and I reframe it as positive. Now they're gonna see how fucking awesome I am and how much I know my shit. And I get really excited. Do you see that? Now I can approach. Now I'm getting excited. Now I'm getting like really fucking hyped and I stop caring. I let go. I realized that me ultimately, like once I get okay with being by myself and I don't need you guys, and ultimately I realized that I have abundance in my life and you guys are gonna be there no matter what the fuck I do. All right? 2, if I'm by myself, I've learned to ultimately just be okay with by myself. If I don't have this YouTube channel, I'm still gonna be doing same old, same old. It's not switching up. I'm gonna be doing the same thing every day. Now, another thing I did was that I always was jumping from relationship to, what I was always doing was jumping from relationship to relationship. And I attacked it directly and I looked at the core reason for why I was doing this. Because I was afraid, again, of being alone. So I started practicing being by myself and getting used to it. And now I don't feel the need to jump from relationship to relationship. Now you see how I'm doing this? I'm slowly attacking my core self. I'm attacking these things that are really me. Now you guys are probably asking, how am I attacking this? Now some of these guys are doing these meditation exercises, these therapies where you're doing the elevator exercise and you're trying to focus on pulling all these things out like tissues. The main core of this is where focus goes, energy flows. Focus is the water that wears the stone. So what I did was I'd sit down every night, pen and paper, and I'd break it down. What was the reason that I thought this and why was I not approaching? And what is it about me that's stopping me from doing this? Now by attacking my character directly and realizing how stupid it was, I'm able to notice that, oh shit, this weak, flimsy ego right here is bullshit. All right, let's get rid of it. All right, let's get rid of it. All right, let's get rid of it. And eventually it's not there anymore. So now when I approach, I have no reason not to approach. It's not like I give a fuck what anybody thinks of me. It's not like I give a fuck what the girl thinks of me. And ultimately, I think that I'm pretty fucking awesome. Like authentically pretty fucking awesome. And I think that I am like literally a 12 out of 10. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't care. I'm pretty sure. I'm a pretty big narcissist by this point, honestly. This is how you guys get rid of your ego. It's where focus goes, energy flows. Just focus on your little parts of you that are this ego as you understand yourself and start kind of like weeding it away, like weeds. It takes a while. It's kind of like peeling an onion. Some of you guys might not be able to do this initially. It may take you like maybe years to do. For me, it took me not too long because ultimately I've been approaching for a while. I already had a pretty flimsy ego to begin with and I was I'm very interpersonally intelligent by this point, so I was really quickly able to weed it out. So I hope this helped you guys out. All right, guys, now if you guys have any questions about approach anxiety, leave them in the comment section below. And with that being said,
I came a long way from writing rhymes in a notebook. Now I'm dishing out dimes with the no look. If it ain't about a team, I don't wanna know. Nothing's ever what it seems. They should know I came a long way from writing rhymes in a notebook. Now I'm dishing out dimes with